Friends, our government is taking action to improve lives now and prepare Scotland for the future. But all of that is happening in the shadow of Brexit. Labour and the Tories promised us in 2014 that Westminster would provide strength and security. That boast was at the very heart of their Project Fear campaign. Now it lies in the Brexit ruins. Westminster hasn't delivered strength and security. It has brought chaos, incompetence and confusion, and it has killed off any Project Fear campaign against independence once and for all. Brexit is costing jobs and hitting living standards. Our young people are losing the opportunity to study, travel and work freely across the EU. The work of our world-class universities, researchers, creative artists and so many others is already being damaged. And for what? In 2014, we were told we had to reject independence to protect our place in Europe. Today, we face warnings of medicine shortages, grounded aeroplanes, gridlock at ports, and a hemorrhaging of investment. They've even appointed a minister for food supplies, for goodness sake. We haven't had one of those since Winston Churchill was Prime Minister. Conference, it brings to mind those immortal Churchill words about the sacrifices of the RAF in World War II. Never was so much owed by so many to so few. Well, when the history books tell the story of this Tory government, selfishly driving the UK towards a hard Brexit just to appease its own ideologues, the verdict will be damning. Never has so much been lost by so many to satisfy so few. The SNP supports membership of the European Union for a simple reason. Independent nations should cooperate for the common good. The EU isn't perfect, but it's one of the world's best examples of that principle in action. And whatever disagreements there are about whether the UK and Scotland are better off inside or out of the EU, one thing is surely beyond doubt. This UK government's handling of these negotiations has been shambolic, chaotic and utterly incompetent. 838 days since the Brexit referendum happened, just 171 days until exit. And yet no one has any idea what the UK's future relationship with the EU will be. That is a disgraceful failure of leadership. These negotiations have also brought into sharp focus the difference in status between Scotland and independent members of the EU. Independent Ireland has received nothing but solidarity from its European partners. Westminster has shown Scotland nothing but contempt. Friends, the independence we seek is the very opposite of Brexit. Brexit is about turning inwards, pulling up the drawbridge, retreating from the world. Independence is about being open, outward-looking, aspiring to play our full part in the world around us. And it is about partnership, real partnership, with our sister nations across the British Isles and with our friends in Europe and across the globe. You know, it seems to me that one of the lasting casualties of Brexit is the notion that the UK is in any sense a partnership of equals. Our vote to remain in the EU ignored. The Scottish Government's compromise plan to stay in the single market, dismissed. Our request for a role in the negotiations, cast aside. A raid on our Parliament's powers. And when the Scottish Parliament said no to that raid, the UK Government could and should have respected that decision. Instead, they took us to court. That's not partnership. That is Westminster control. Scotland deserves better. And now we have Tory and Labour politicians queuing up to tell us that the decision about Scotland's future belongs not to the people, but to Westminster. That they will decide if and when we can choose to be independent. Well, let us send this message today. You can oppose independence. That is your democratic right. But you cannot, and you will not, deny Scotland's right to choose. Friends, Scotland chose to remain in the EU. We did not choose this Westminster fiasco. In recent days, we've argued for the Article 50 process to be extended to allow disaster to be averted. That would allow more time for a sensible single market option to be pursued, and it would allow time for another vote to take place. On that, let me make our position clear. If there is a proposal for another EU referendum, SNP MPs will vote for that. But let's not kid ourselves. There is no guarantee that another vote won't deliver the same outcome. Scotland choosing to remain, but still facing exit against our will. Brexit is a serious problem for Scotland, but that is only because of a more fundamental issue. Our future is not in our own hands. Scotland's future is in Westminster's hands, and the only solution to that is to become an independent country.